still watching Foot Afrique. It's that time of the show where we talk all things women's football. I always deal with my bestie, but because we live in South Africa, you're allowed to be whatever you are. Whether you are a male or a female, you're allowed to be anything. My bestie today is Brian Mofokeng. You haven't seen him in a long time, but he's been around. Hi, bestie.
Hey, Itu. What a guan.
Wagwan.
All good.
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been a minute, eh?
It's been a really long minute.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off by testing your African football knowledge. Remember that trivia question that I asked you at the beginning of the show? I did ask you that since the year 1992, the Olympics of football has used a different format. So since that era up until now, who is the Olympian who has scored the most Olympic hat-tricks?
Got to say, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, you talk about the history of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Remember way back in the 20s, you're not there. I was not there.
1920s. It's 1920.
That was still, you need to have senior players playing in the Olympics.
Okay.
Then it changed. In 1982, we started having under 23s from a male side. But the women tournaments in 1996. So all the way from then on to now, we do have one queen, standing tall above everybody else.
Yes.
Barbara. You can say the surname, I know.
Banda, because if it's not banned, it's not as pristine. That is the answer to this week's trivia question. Congratulations to those who did actually get it right. There are a few of you, but others, yay, var Marta. Not even Marta's been that great.
You can say Marta because given how many tournaments she's played in. I mean,
fair
but if you look at Barbara Banda, I mean, she's only, 4 goals behind Christian of Brazil, who scored a total of 14 goals. And she's 3 behind Marta, a teammate Orlando Pride. So well done to Barbara Banda, scoring a hat-trick again this tournament.
Yeah.
Scored 2 in a previous edition. So, yeah. But, you know, the sad news is that every time she scored a hat-trick, they lost.
I wanted to talk about that, and it's one thing that Adelani actually touched on about the concentration laps, and I think that conversation is more pertinent when it comes to women's football.
Indeed.
Because it looks like we celebrate before the fat lady sings.
Listen, I mean, for me, I was very distraught when I watched the game, the Zambia game, because I covered that game.
Yeah.
You know, on SABC, and I was thinking to myself, how do you allow yourself to be 4-2 up at halftime?
Yeah.
5-2 in the second half,
Yeah.
and then allow the opposition to come and score 4 goals
That
in the
is
second
insane.
half.
Never heard of.
And also, the first goal, Musule, own goal, you know? From then, they conceded a penalty, a soft one, I have to say, because it was not supposed to be a foul had she just cleared the ball the first time around. And then from there, they find themselves in a set piece that is taken from range. Musula once again gifted one easy one into the back of the net. So the question was, where's Nali?
Yeah.
Where's Catherine Musonda?
Which is, and I think this has been the theme of the conversation today.
Yeah.
You have to have a strong personality in between the sticks.
For me, I would have taken an injured, limping Belemu to the stage.
Really?
The tournament. Because Belemu was not injured. She was not selected because the coach felt she was not fit enough or she was not playing and her form was not the best. Susan Banda, the same story.
But if you fail the fitness test, it's not fair for you to sit out.
No, what I'm saying, it was not its fitness test, it was about form. The coach said her form was not good. Banda's form was not good either. And she said Susan Banda's form was not good.
And we saw what she did.
And then she didn't play. Susan Banda didn't play because she didn't...
Oh, I thought you were saying Barbara Banda.
No, Susan Banda was not fit. Belem was not fit. And then what did the coach do? Bruce Moape decided to bring in Siamofuko on the right-hand side where Belemu plays. Disastrous. Zulu got the red card because he's trying to cover for Siamofuko. Disaster at the back. Mwemba playing with new players at the back, 19-year-old and an 18-year-old at the back. It was always going to be serious problems. Martha Tembo couldn't exert herself well. For Mikunda Nanji, in a game when they played, the first game when they lost against USA, should have played the ball to Barbara on 3 occasions. She wanted to go for glory.
She wanted to score.
Those moments never happened. Nachula came in the second game, and I think, I was happy to see Nachula playing. She became one of those, created a chance for Barbara Banda for the first goal. Barbara Banda scored a goal. Barbara Banda scored a hat-trick. She's now scored more hat-trick than Christian herself, who's the top scorer of all time. So I think from that point of view, Zambia can take a lot of good stuff going forward into the other stuff. But you look at the group, Itu. Yes, the game against USA was going to be tricky.
Always.
The second game against Australia, for me, they should have won that game. The German game, Yeah.
So it's like a touch and go, that
Yeah,
one.
it was a touch and go situation to say, okay, going to play Germany, not a bad team, a very solid team, so they're going to take you out and not play very well against you.
So this is the Copper Queens. We know this is not the first time that they've made it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Is it not concerning that there's still such basic mistakes that are being made, right? One being time management, second being them not playing as a unit,
Yeah.
and third, the squad selection. But then when you also hear what's happening off of the pitch, that also you can be like,
That discussion is not good.
do you get what I
have to
mean?
say, because I spoke to one colleague who's based in Zambia, and he was saying that those particular allegations were already put forward.
Yeah.
Hence, there was an issue even when we had to travel to France with the head coach Bruce Mwape.
Separately.
Because that eventually affects the morale of the team in
Absolutely.
totality.
Some players will, besides them not even being in form, right?
Yeah.
It's a thing of, I don't want to play, so I'm not going to show up.
They missed Irene Lungu. They missed Iverine Katongo. She's a rising star in Zambian football, and they missed those two players immensely in this competition because they needed a holding midfield to be strong. I tell you one thing for sure, Helen Chanda tried her best. Grace Chanda, hence she didn't play much. She played the
do
first
it
game.
alone.
But Grace Chanda was not, in the first game, you realize just made a move to come and join a countrywoman in America, in Orlando Pride. And she hadn't played football yet. Hence, they took her to the tournament. I don't know why they took her to the tournament. If you're unable to get the best of Grace Chanda out, because she's a product of the under 20 team that went all the way to the top, from under 17 playing at the World Cup tournament to be part where she is at the moment. So I think from that point of view, the management of the team was not all right, and they paid dearly against the better, much formidable teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the Copper Queens. We were expecting them to do so much better, but as we've said, there's so many things that are actually affecting the team, even if it's not on the pitch. But to the Super Falcons, I think a little bit more grace. A little bit more grace. Come on.
Oh, you can't say grace. Look at
I would give them a little bit more grace.
But look at the squad Nigeria has.
Fair enough.
And look at the history of the Olympics where Nigeria fits in the Olympics.
Okay, fair
They are
enough.
the first one to qualify in 2000. Yes, it has been a 16-year hiatus.
It's
But they're
hard.
coming
We're
back-
rusty.
But they're coming back from a very good World Cup.
That's true. That's true.
Nadozi, for me, is always been the key goalkeeper. Hence, the scoreline was not that bad.
That's
But Nigeria didn't play as good as we wanted them to play. The fact that they scored 1 goal in 3 matches, then you compare the numbers, you realize that from what they have
all
on the
the
field of
quality,
play,
yeah.
with the quality they have in the team, they should have done much better. But they found themselves against very formidable team. The game against Brazil, it was very interesting. Mata scored a goal, it was ruled out by VAR. Finally, VAR came our way.
For Africa. For Africa.
Yeah, the second game when Putela scored a beauty. But watch the Spanish team. The Spanish team are going to do what the men have done in all the other competition.
Yeah.
They are, by the way, the world champions.
Didn't they win the Euros as well?
Yep, they are in
Yeah.
a different field. They
Yeah,
won
yeah,
the
yeah.
United European Nationals. They also won the World Cup. For me, they are a team to watch in this competition.
Well, and others may argue that when it comes to football, the footballers and the African sides don't necessarily give it their all because it's just a medal and it's not necessarily a piece of silverware.
Yeah.
But let's just quickly touch on this. Banyana have a game that's coming up. We always talk about game time. Now it's going to be up against the Lionesses.
It is indeed.
How are we feeling about that?
I'm feeling very happy because the Lionesses are the champions of Europe, by the way. And then they come in here as the runners-up in the World Cup as well. South Africa missing out on the WAFCON being moved to next year.
Yeah.
So good news to see that Desrealis's lads will be able to get some football to play before the big matches next year.
You see, you're just exposing that you love doing men's football. It's lasses.
Oh,
Brian.
lasses. Oh, yeah.
Bestie.
Yes.
Bestie.
Oh.
Look, you did this. And just like that, that's how we're going to leave the show. Me and my bestie. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let's do it again next week.